Production.
Welcome back, everyone. Coming of age, the goddamn podcast.
Coming of age.
Oh, that sweet, sweet voice you hear right now is me, Azam, and I'm here with my co-star, co-pilot, my right-hand man, Frank Nis Wilson. Frankie, what's up, man? El Capitan.
Age thing on the first episode. Like, when did I start that?
I think it's right off the bat, man. I think we were, you know what?
Like, I don't remember what possessed me to do that, to be honest.
But it's the trademark. The trademark. From here to wherever, how high we go, it has to happen every single time. If we do live shows, has to happen every single time. Every single time.
I can't stop now. Can't stop. Won't stop. But, anyways, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. We're getting some nice, sweet, tough weather, but it's teasing us because it goes back to cold and it's warm, cold, warm. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like
I'm
Frank.
I'm ready
just
for
like
summer.
Frank.
Ready.
Just like Frank. This weather's just like Frank.
Just sweep this up and then walk.
Warm,
right
cold,
out.
warm, cold. Walk out. Wilson, walk out. The Wilson, walk out. Hey, man, one of the
Funny story, man.
Yeah, go
Last
ahead.
week. So
Yeah.
for those of you, check out episode 51, Sweet Up. It was quite the funny one. And it's funny because after the episode, I'm like, yo, let me go try this ear thing.
Yeah.
So Cece is sitting on the couch. So I go downstairs. I'm like, what do I say? I'm like, something like, hey, boobs, you're looking beautiful or something like that. And I go to kiss her ear. Yo, girl, she's like, yo, why are you talking in my ear for? I'm like,
But
what do you mean?
but mind you, the ear thing is what my advice. It was one of my things, right? Like a thing
You're a
to
move.
do.
So I was
right?
like,
A
yo, let
move,
me go
yeah.
and try the ear. Yo, I call it Zam. I'm like, yo, ear didn't work.
Man called me right
He's
in
like, yo,
front of
walk
his
out.
assistant.
He's actually like, yo, Frank, just walk out. Just walk out.
The Wilson walkout. That's one of the best things ever. Frank called me like literally. I saw a phone call. I was like, oh, yo, shit, maybe something happened with the with the
Yo,
description.
the WW, the whiskey Wilson walkout. That's what I'm tagging it, guy. Yo, you want this? Yo, you tell me you don't want this whiskey?
It would have been best if you just like said that to her, kissed her ear, and she's like, "Ew, gross! Like, what are you touching?" And you're just like, "Mm-hmm." You just like walk out. Mm-hmm. Hold that.
All nice.
Hold that. Tell her to hold that. Yo.
No, I was like, yo, Isaiah's wrong. She's like, what? I'm like, yo, we just told this, and he told me to do this, and she's like, no, don't do that. She's like, well, don't talk in my ear.
But I was
like
telling
talking in
you,
her ear.
you can't just do that. You have to, you have to have had a history of doing. You can't just sneak up and do these things out of the blue, man.
Why?
And if you're
literally
gonna
said
do it,
you snuck up on Seda. And
yeah,
you're
but
like,
I
yo.
am that. I am that all the time. Like I have that with me all the time. You're just doing it on the. See, the only thing that would help you is if you keep doing it. Then it becomes like a norm. Then it becomes a little bit funny. Then it might work.
So I just gotta keep walking out then, because that's my thing.
You gotta walk.
Hey, girl, you're looking beautiful. Well, where are you
Just
going?
leave, man.
Out.
Leave them wanting more. You gotta leave them wanting more. But episode 51, that was a great one. We got so much feedback on that. You got some feedback from someone on your end. I got some great feedback from a bunch of people on my end. A lot of people just found it hilarious about Frank's moves and stuff like that. And then like the walkout has become famous. The walkout itself is a famous thing.
Well, that's something that you made up. I don't do stuff and then walk out.
It's the Wilson walkout.
Like you literally created that out of your own imagination. You want that to be real.
I feel like that is you. That is what you would want to do, though.
Yo, wait for my wedding day. I do walk out.
Walk out. It's like, yo, what's Frank? I'm like, yo, man, walked out, bro. As promised.
Yo, man,
As promised.
That's his vow, yo. That's his vow. He's gone.
That's his vows. That means he really cares about you. That means he actually cares about you. But
Cece right now listening to this is probably just looking at her fingers. She's like, "What wedding? What's?"
oh, jeez, jeez.
Oh man. Anyways,
Yeah.
guys, thanks for joining us. I always like the early banter. I was telling Zam I had a long ass day, but these recordings just kind of get my energy back up and get me in tip top shape. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this will be a fun. I mean, this will be a fun one. This is like a serious to fun one. Little bit of a rant, little bit of a going back to
never had a fully serious conversation in the history of this podcast.
No, but I think the essence.
It's not going to start today.
The essence of our chemistry, I think, involves a lot of the serious, a bit of the professional, and a bit of the laughs. A little bit of the humor. So I think this is one of those that kind of brings us back to one. Like that. Brian McKnight.
Right,
Brian
we'll
McKnight.
Right,
Shout out Brian McKnight. Back to one.
No, that's a shout out right there. I'll put it down. Shout out Brian McKnight.
Brian McKnight. I don't know how much.
I'm going to tag him. Man's gonna listen to an hour-long podcast. Be like, "That's what you take me for."
I haven't seen Brian McKnight for years, and then he randomly showed up on. I don't know if you watch like Masked Singer or Masked Dancer.
No.
One of those
I hate
shows.
all those shows.
He just showed up on that thing. Yeah. You hate all those shows? Really? Eh?
They're so dumb. I don't like them.
Wow. Not even for fun.
Like,
yeah, I guess I don't. I mean, I wouldn't choose it to. My son, like my kids, like it. I wouldn't like pass by and like actually.
Like I understand they're trying to make it interesting, but I just feel like they saturated the whole dance and music. And I'm a dancer, and they just ruined it for me. Like I can't watch those shows. Can't do it.
You know what those shows are too? Those are like those transition shows that like happen in the summer or they happen in like winter break. They just like are constantly on. Like one of those things where like everyone watches it because you're home, kind of thing. Yeah, it's one of those.
I guess. Either way, it's not for me.
No, I'm just describing it. Yo, Frank has zero. His disdain for those shows is evident. We got to do an episode just on dancing shows.
We could, man. Oh, I can go in and I can get dancers on here going in on that first. I can get dance teachers for sure. Like,
I on the record have criticized dancing shows because I feel like it kills the effect of when you actually see it. Like, so it's like over so much, it's like saturated. Like, how many times can you see the same stuff? Like, I feel like dancing. Dancing is one of those.
Ever since So You Think You Can Dance and all that stuff, it's just, I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole. Yo, this week's topic.
Man, already had a long day. I'm about to like poke him into like, and another thing, and another thing.
I was about to go in, but no. Let's skip it. This week's episode. What did you? Oh, we got a doozy for you this week. That's Shazam, right? Is that what you say?
We got a good one. We got a good one.
Every week is a good one.
We got a juicy one.
This week's episode is quite simply entitled Habits.
Mm-hmm.
Simple habits. Mm-hmm. It's pretty self-explanatory, but we're gonna break it down for you anyways, because that's how we do. We're just gonna go into habits, like what types of habits there are, just kind of off the whim, and everybody has something. Everybody wishes they had something, or everybody wishes they didn't have something. But just so we can set the tone, we'll talk about habits in general. Then Azam and I are going to go into habits that we personally wish we had, or wish we had earlier in our life. It's just kind of a little bit of a combo whammy there. And then we're going to finish it off with habits that we wish we did not have, or habits that we think are overrated and overused all the time.
Yes.
I'm sure you guys would be like, yeah, I heard this one. Literally, it's on every resume, or it's on every single, anytime someone hypes himself up. So we're going to go through there, and it's going to be related to everything, like from success to, let's just kick it off right here. Azam, habits. They can be related to absolutely anything, to just literally like personal things you just do. Even something like taking all the lights off when you're done in a room, for example, or like you or your entire family leaving TV, lights, everything on.
The
just
opposite,
because.
Yeah.
It could be something related to your career, like just success every day, just motivation, business moves, relationships. Like habits are everywhere, whether you see them or not, or focus on them. Sorry, or not, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like I alluded to the fact of like the essence of our podcast a lot, especially when we began, is like observing and like being able to speak from things from our perspectives. And habits is a big thing. This is something that we wanted to touch on in season one last year, but we just never got to it. So we're getting to it today. But habits are the things that I feel like make us who we are in pretty much every facet of life. So whether again it be at your work life, your home life, you as a parent, you as a person, as an entrepreneur, you as a person who is, maybe a bee in the trap kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like those, your habits are what I think make you who you are, and it's something that like people can either pull on to you to bring you up, or use it to bring you down. Also, you know what I mean? So, just
Absolutely.
speaking in a general sense, habits are just formed, I think, through time. They're formed through some sort of psychological effect.
Yeah.
Observing something, admiring someone or something. They're
I guess
formed in
a
a lot of
habit can be
ways, you know.
formed from. It can be sourced from so many different avenues.
So many,
So, like
yeah,
you said, it can be purposeful. So you can literally say, okay, you know what? I want to start doing X, and then if you just focus in on it enough and do it enough times, repetition, it becomes a part of your autonomy, right?
right,
Whereas, and I say autonomy, not anatomy, purposely, just
right,
so everybody knows.
right.
And then additionally, a habit can be sourced from a single event, right?
Sure.
Even let's say you had a car accident, like you had a little, maybe someone bumped your tail or something like that. That itself can trigger you to automatic. Let's say you didn't check your blind spot before, you check your blind spot now, or you're always looking around 360 when you're driving, for
Right.
example, just because you have that fear
Yep.
that someone's going to hit you, so you develop that natural instinct to, okay, let me check around so I can make sure I don't get hit next time, right? I think if you really sit down and like if we went to someone and said, okay, write down like a list of habits you have. They might write down like the cliche ones they literally are conscious of.
Yeah.
But if we say, okay, no. Now really think about all the habits you really have.
Right.
Like as minuscule as it is, you'd be surprised how many things we actually do just out of habit, right?
Oh, big time. And it probably in that scenario, you'd probably have to like wake up and have a regular day and kind of maybe keep a notepad with you, because there's, again, like you said, you're probably doing a whole bunch of shit that you don't realize that you're doing.
You don't realize.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
and again, the cliche stuff is, we're going to touch on it later on, which some of the stuff that gets abused is like, oh, work hard, attention to detail, those kind of things where everybody almost says that kind of stuff. I'm like cleanliness, leadership skills. You know,
my
what
leadership is a habit,
right? It's a habit. Right? My work ethic. You know what I mean? Like
I have the habit of taking initiative. Word.
Yeah. And all of that, right? But if you follow yourself during the day and maybe trace the things that you're saying to people, how you're saying things to people, it all comes from a habit. It all comes from something you've done repetitively, something that's triggered you to do something repetitively that makes you who you are. And I feel like, they always say like bad habits die hard, right? And it's because like you're so used to doing it, right? It's a part of you, And we're speaking again in a very general sense, especially in this first part. But
of course.
But
I also feel like sorry, did I cut in? Sorry, you can.
Yeah, I was just gonna end it by saying it's imperative to kind of be aware of your habits, and also not only be aware that you're doing them, but also probably be aware of how it may be affecting others. Also, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
it's funny because like I always think a good example, just to kind of exemplify how habits are so apart, can be so minor but so also apparent. Poker, right? Poker is literally a game of reading or looking for some kind of habit or tell,
right,
as they would call it. And if you're actually an avid poker, not even avid, an amateur poker player, and someone said, hey, okay, make sure you show no signs of what, like, try your hardest to really be just as is extremely hard because you realize that you, even if it's something like eye shifting, shifting your weight in your seat, scratching your head, or place your hands on the table, putting your cards down, purposely not looking at your cards multiple times when you know you have something, or doing the inverse and try to look at them a lot so that you make people think there's so many things that you don't know that you have, or that you do know that's purposeful. And when you actually try to step out of your habit, whatever it might be, it is difficult to do, especially when you're not aware that you have that habit. I think it's harder to not do something that you haven't realized that you actually do on a regular basis. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And like and in your scenario of the poker scenario, I believe those people, and a special shout out to Frank and Tunji. You guys both taught me how to play poker for the first time.
I did?
Yeah, a couple of years ago at something.
Where?
At something, I forget. Yeah, at something. I
remember
remember
this.
we were together somewhere, and you guys taught me.
Oh, maybe it was it a baby shower?
It was.
I think it was Dream's baby shower.
Baby shower. There you go. Yeah.
Because that's like the only time the three of us would ever be together
in the same place. Yeah.
Yes.
Playing poker also, and like sitting down at the table with no other distractions and stuff like that.
Yes.
But yeah, like it's interesting that in that scenario again, you're gonna have someone who can take advantage of you, right? Like meaning, if someone's observant enough, or has been around you enough, they can kind of poke the bear, right? Or know like your reaction to things before you even actually react. Right, like so they can tell.
Yep.
You might have a nervous habit, biting your nails, grinding your teeth, looking away. A lot of people do this look away thing where they're thinking, right? Like I do that a lot, right? But a lot of people don't do that, and things like looking in your eyes when you're not lying, right? Like when you're telling the truth. But a lot of people just nervously look away, right? Nervously look away, you know, all that stuff. I just mean it's just
look at their phone or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and like again, those are in those ways. Those habits can hurt you, right? Financial habits, where like someone knows that you're bad with your money, like you're just generally bad with your money. You have the habit of spending. You have the habit of making the wrong decisions when it comes financially. Those are bigger general things, right? And what'll happen is in a relationship, you'll probably avoid giving that person that responsibility, or you'll avoid having that conversation with somebody because you know where it's gonna go. You know what their reaction is gonna be. You know that giving that person that power gives their habit that power. You know what I'm saying? So so literally they will go out and do that stuff that you know they're gonna do it 100%. You know what I mean? Because it's just part of them. You know, and they're gonna worry in a certain way because it's just part of them.
So do you think that habits, so I think a good general statement would be that bad habits are developed obviously not on purpose, and good habits, whatever we quantify as good, are usually ones that can be on purpose or also not be on purpose. Like, I don't know if anybody will purposefully develop a bad habit,
right?
Like on purpose. Like the first thing I think about is, let's say, like would addiction be considered a habit? I don't know if that's a habit though. An addiction.
I feel like when you're gonna define it, would it not fall into that category of things where you're
bad habits? I guess
where you're kind of you're doing something all the time, right? Like you're in reaction to something, you're doing something. In reaction to in these moments, you're doing something. You know what I'm saying? Like and in order to get
that's true.
Yeah, like it's habits sometimes are a bridge to get to somewhere too. You know what I mean? So like someone biting their nails or going for a smoke, it's like they're a lot of times is a bridge to get to where they gotta be. Like, you know what I mean?
Yo, Sam, I just realized, you're looking good, guy. Yo, you lost some weight. Your face is actually looking thinned out and everything. Your hairline looking nice. Yo, okay.
You think so? Oh, I appreciate that, buddy.
You're looking crisp. I just caught on to the Instagram video now. Yo, everybody, if you guys see Sam right now, He's looking clean.
Hey man, I appreciate that. You know, my hard work.
Yo,
is,
that's a sweet up right there, eh?
Yeah. Yo, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Sorry, I just wanted to catch you on a sweet up in off guard.
Yeah.
There you go.
I like it. And I like what I'm seeing from you also. I got two so far as 2 sweet ups. Ceci's got one and I've got one. And this one has worked. I'll tell you that much. See? It's only positive.
I'm trying to develop the habit of giving you a sweet up randomly.
There you go.
Catch you off guard.
But you know that's something too, right? Something where like you have a habit of flirting, a habit of creating, and that's something that can be very detrimental. You know what I mean? Like,
you know what I think. So here's a comment. I think most women would say that their man have a habit of becoming more affectionate at a very convenient time, if you know what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like they're always just chilling, and all of a sudden when you see they're elevating, they're all like really like, you know, lovey-dovey cuddling. It's like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I've heard that far too many times from different women. Not for me. But I'm just saying, like, I heard that.
Yeah,
about,
no, of course. In
general, about relationships.
Exactly.
I'm 100% a culprit of that. 100%. I will.
Oh, I'm pretty sure when you went down to nibble on Ceci's ear, you were kind of hoping for something to.
No, man. No, actually, I just.
You're hoping that there was going to be some. There's going to be some.
No, I mean, if it happens, it happens. But I was just actually just genuinely.
I mean, if it happened, I'm ready.
Try this move.
Like if it happened,
try this exam move.
If it happened, I'm ready. If it happened, I'm ready. That's all I'm saying. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for
the. If it happens, I'm ready. If it doesn't happen, I mean.
Okay, so I think so. So what's the second part of this? I think we've kind of really defined.
So the second part, we're going to get into actual
right?
specifics.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into specifics as in what habits we actually wish we had.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we could also discuss habits that we have now, but that we wish we had earlier on. So one habit, I would say, I don't know if this is really a habit. I think it is I'm constantly thinking about money, like throughout my day. So will that qualify as a habit? Like literally, I'll be working and then like my mind would just switch. I'd be like, oh, what if I did this side hustle? What if I tried this? Or like, is that a habit or is that just kind of, I don't know.
I mean, I would say
it's a repetitive thing.
I would say so because I mean, I guess I'm attributing habits to some sort of action, you know. So like, you have the habit of thinking about that, but then also you have the habit of taking action in trying to pursue that. You know, like there's something that's coming of that. Like I wouldn't think being infatuated with someone or of something is a habit, but I would say that if what you're constantly thinking of kind of has a reaction to it, I would say that's a habit, and I would say the danger.
I started with that one because I know it's a stretch. Like I purposely started with that one because it's actually more of a question, right? Because
I mean,
I know we're about to dive into some habits that have to relate to being successful. I'm sure we're about to say some, and I wonder if the actual act of just thinking about, you know, being successful becomes like it's almost like anything you do. Like some people will have the thought process of, if I'm going to have a meeting with someone, is that meeting going to potentially take me towards money? Like they think of every action as a possible result of money.
I guess but you know, it's our show, it's our perspective, right? So I would probably say that yes, that is a habit. I would define that as a habit. But what I was actually gonna say was, if your habit is ending with constant like, money, is this gonna make me money? How am I gonna? Is this if I do this, is gonna get me money? I do wonder if your idea of success is based on something that, you know, there's something in the past that you have an equivalency to the amount of money that you'll make, some sort of profit you'll make, and that's what deems it successful. You know what I mean? So meaning,
I hear you.
Yeah. So like, because what if that money doesn't come at that point? Then you just switch to another idea, or do you kind of try to keep pursuing something, right? So
true.
you'd almost want to wrap. Like if I was gonna analyze it, I'd probably almost say, not just you, but if anybody who has that thought, You almost want to be like, you almost want to wrap that money in a work ethic thing. Like, I got to do this. So I know if I have to, I have to do this. I got to think. I got to do research. I got to do this. I got to do that to get to where I got to be. Because if you have a grant, if you don't have a hard, I think a hard set goal, also, I think that sets you up for failure a lot of times too. Because it's like, well, I get more money with this, but how much money do you want? Like how much do you want? You want $5,000? You want 5,000? You want or 5 million? Like what is the actual? Yeah. And that probably goes back to a habit of like hard work or a habit of how would you say, like you're focusing on one thing, but you don't have a concrete plan. And probably a lot of people have that. Not you, because I've been around you enough to know that you will pretty much think of everything surrounding such and such area, like peaks and valleys and instances that could happen.
Yeah.
At least I assume that's what from knowing you.
No, you're right. Thank you. Yeah.
From knowing you. But I think one of the toughest habits for people to break out of is their own anxiety, that their own nervousness and whatever brings that about. So it's like you're your own worst enemy, where you constantly doubt yourself. And I feel like that's something that I feel like that's one of the worst habits to have. And
whoa, that's next section. So you have a habit of jumping ahead,
right? Right. I do. I think you know what. I appreciate you pointing that out to me, and I'll try to make sure that.
How about you tell us what's a good habit that you have right now, like a habit that you're happy you have?
I'm happy I have the habit of reacting. My knee-jerk reaction is typically a positive knee-jerk reaction, and I have a natural patience, I believe. That
I was actually gonna bring that up, to be honest, like for you. Sorry.
Yeah, I think I have not. I think I have that. I've always had that, and I have another great habit that I have is having perspective in the moment, so I don't get emotionally caught up into things. I'm very assured of myself. I don't feel bad when people say wrong things to me. I have like a very I don't know. I have like a I don't know if it's just a natural process. Like I don't process things in the way many people do. I don't take things as a slight. Because I feel like I'm in control of what I'm doing, right? And I have a belief in myself and a belief in a higher power that I think I'll be fine regardless. I have a positive outlook. I think
you'll figure it out.
Yeah,
and that's actually one of my same things where, like, if there's we talked about this before, where there can be like most situations, even if it's bad or whatever it is, I have a natural like mentality where I'm like, there's gonna be a solution. I'll figure it out.
Right.
Okay. Like, sure, it sucks. Sure, it's stressful. Sure, it's whatever. But there has to be a solution. So instead of losing your mind or being affected by external factors, you're just like, all right, well,
a great Frank story of figuring shit out right at the moment is I was saying this in our group chat. Remember when we went to Miami and we were going down that one-way street? Yeah, so we're going down. You know that story, right? Or no? Or you don't? You want me to recall?
No, I know the moment, but I'm trying to think of a specific what you're gonna say. So go ahead.
So we're going. So for everyone listening, we're going down this. Okay, 8 of us are in Miami. A bunch of us.
More. It's like 11 of us.
11 of us, but we're split into 2 groups. So it's me and Frank, Woods, Dream, and DJ in one car. Right? I don't think I'm leaving anyone out. And before the trip, me and Frank have decided that we've pretty much said, me and him are going to be the drivers, right? Okay, so at this point, Frank is driving. We're only like an hour, 2 hours in Miami at this point. I have been going to South Florida, since I was 12. Like every year. Now, there's not been a skip. The only time there's been a skip is been Corona lockdown, right? So I know a little bit of the areas, So we're in Wynwood. And Frank has made a right. Google has told Frank to make a right down this one-way street. And I go, Frankie, yo, man, come out of the street. and he's ripping this Acadia Denali down this one-way street,
I'm not
and
ripping.
ripping pretty good. And and if anybody knows about South Florida, those one-ways are just leading you to a trap. Like they're leading you to like there are houses on each side. It's not like it's like, and the space between the lane to the fence of the house is maybe 3 feet on each side. So Frank is trees are hitting the truck. Do you remember trees? And this guy's got the window down, blasting, blasting, blasting. And to show Frank's in the moment perspective, this guy he goes, why? What? Because yo, nothing's gonna happen, guy. Yo, come on, yo, nothing's gonna happen, guy. You're making a big deal out making a big deal out of nothing. And we are getting close to like a stop sign, and across from the stop sign is like the little convenience store, so like a bodega. And there's a guy, mind you, Florida is like 35. We were sweating from the time like we've landed, right? Like a hair dryer's been in our face. And there's a guy with no shirt, dreadlock guy. He's got no shirt. He's got shorts, but he's wearing a bubble jacket, like a Montclair black bubble jacket. And the guys in the back have heard me keep telling Frank thing, and they go, "Yo, Frank, drive, yo, drive, drive." And Frank looks, goes, it drives right past. So yes, I have witnessed
That's
you
just situational
in the moment,
awareness
not
and
panic. Yeah, but I
reaction.
witnessed you not panic. I witnessed you not have that. You have a habit. That's your habit. You're like, yo, okay, bullshit, danger ahead. Let's figure this out. We're getting out of here. Anyway,
Just put my bullshit aside.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
You're right. But yeah, man, I mean, again, those are the things that I think make you, right? Those are the things that I don't know if it's, and maybe is it a nature or nurture thing, you know, like
So here's
Yeah.
a habit that I do actually have. I have a habit, if possible, of naturally making things as autonomous as possible. So we had a spit in 5 before about how you shower, right? And I went into great detail of how I shower, like
Right.
steps,
right.
and that sequence doesn't change ever. And then we had another one where we were, these actually all come to my head now, where we said, how do you avoid waking up your girl, right, when you're getting into bed?
Yes.
Again, my sequence for getting into and out of bed is like it's a regime, like a routine, right?
Right.
And even something like my morning routine to the T, same every morning. Even what's another routine I have? Oh my gosh, I just had it in my head. Oh, cooking. I tend to make anytime I'm cooking, like I like to be like as efficient as possible, just boom, 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 boom. It's like multitasking all the way. So I think
But do you
a
think
natural
that's
habit of
an
mine is
engineer brain? I think you have that engineer brain that
yeah, I
general
mean, you could say
thing, right?
engineer. I mean, I think that
Meaning it's
saying
honed.
engineer is overrated, but I know what you mean. I
No,
know
but
what you
it's
mean.
like you're honing that skill constantly, right? Like so like you're honing it.
I just like to be as effective as possible.
Right.
Like, oh, sorry, not effective, efficient. Sorry.
Efficient,
So yes, I would say you say it's the ingenuity in me, but yeah, everything. Like it's like if I'm cooking, like I'm thinking to the T. I'm like, okay, like again, so many people do this, but I'm just speaking on my behalf. I'm like, okay, you know what? Potatoes take the longest. Get those thrown in. I know the sausage is gonna take a short time, so get those thrown in. Only like 15 minutes left. Salad, I'll chop that up while the potatoes are going because that's the
I
thing
get it.
that
I
can
get
be
it.
done.
I get
Like,
it. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Anyways, so that's one of my habits. I try to make things as automatic as possible, so that way I don't even have to think about it. It's just fluent. You know what I mean?
You know, when I was thinking about this topic, I was thinking about like not only our habits, but like habits that like I admire, and like so not just the fact of like me not having it, but like I admire people's like cleanliness, like attention to detail in their own home. You know, like it's
Yep.
something to be. I feel like that's something to be admired. You know, like
that's my lady, Cece. I have a story for you.
Sure. Go ahead. Go. It's your
Oh, you
show.
want it now?
Yeah, it's your show.
No. All right, go ahead. Go finish your thought.
No. I'm not joking. I mean, like,
the other week.
Okay, you know what? It's your show too. It's our show. Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm just joking. The other week, so Cece, she decorates the house. Like I say, go ahead. She asked me for a couple inputs, but I trust her to do whatever she wants. Anyways, she has this bowl of gold buttons,
I've seen
gold and
this.
black buttons.
I've seen
all
this.
right. So I seen the bowl. And this is just because I know her. I seen the bowl, and I'm like, I'm not gonna touch the buttons. Just it looks nice. Leave it. Cece is so like intuitive. Like she like her attention to detail is ridiculous. My cousins come over, so we're watching a movie, whatever. Cece's out the room. Okay, my cousin goes and he just dashes his hands in the bowl. Just mash up all the buttons.
Like
right?
for fun, or
in
you
my
told him
mind,
to do that?
I'm like, I know those buttons were placed a certain way. It's a whole bowl of buttons, right? I'm like, all right, leave it. Yo, so we're chilling, whatever. And it's getting to the end of the night. And like I said, Cece was not in the room to witness this. And then she's walking around, I guess. And she stops, turns around, walks back, and she's like, was someone playing in this bowl of buttons? And she looks directly at my cousin Devon. Shout out Devon. And she looks directly at him, and he's just like, what? How did you know that? She just knows. Like, when I do something, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, Cece's gonna know this. Like, there's no hiding it. No hiding it. No hiding. Oh, her attention is just on point. Anyway, sorry.
No, that's great. So, but is there points where it's detrimental sometimes, where like it's great for this, but it has maybe an ill effect on one other hand, like
Absolutely. And this is like, I know, like, even the same automatic thing I told you, one of my problems is when you set up a system that's automatic, you tend to actually ignore certain details because it's an automatic system. It's supposed to just be self-propelling.
Yeah.
Or you might lose touch with some kind of specific thing that you should, right? So because I'm trying to make everything autonomous, that also means sometimes I rush things because I want to be efficient. So that way I skip some things I should have caught. And it's kind of a catch-22 because I do like to be a detail-oriented person, but I think I choose my specific moments when I think it's necessary. If that makes sense.
Or do you find like let's say you put something by the door and you already kind of map it. I don't know if you're like me. Like if I have something for somebody, like I usually have it ready, primed, put where I know I'm going to remember to give it to them or something like that. And it's just like that's like a force of habit of mine. But I can easily be derailed by like a phone call or like something happening in between that
absolutely.
time, right? And like
because it disrupts your system, right?
Absolutely. Like I remember going to lend you my miter saw, and I put it specifically where I knew I was gonna look. You were gonna come talk to me about it. I knew where I had it. I knew where I was gonna grab it, and I'll never forget. Saida moved it out of where it was, even though it was only 5 feet away from where I placed it. I went to it, and I was like, "Oh, wait, what?"
Threw you off,
and my brain starts retracing all my steps, right? Because like you, I'm trying to make. I find myself constantly, and maybe that's the technician part of me, where like literally I'll challenge myself midway in a job to constantly do something, like to make it that I know that if I do this all the time, this action, it'll help me in the next time when I go, because I'll remember I did this action, if that makes any sense.
Well, also with you, especially with wiring, right? Like if you go and you take apart an entire card deck and amp, and
not card
sometimes
decks anymore, man. It's a long time.
You know what I mean? But like if you take apart whatever, and at first you might go and label wires or put them in specific spots, but then you start knowing, and you know that you can actually bend them certain ways so you know where they're supposed to go.
And that's what I'm kind of alluding to. Yes.
Yeah, if you get distracted or something, you come back, you're like,
oh shit, wait,
like it takes you a minute to kind of
exactly.
up, right?
And that's what I mean by this, like something like the saw, where it's like you've made this thing an autonomous step, where like you said, like I know I did this to make sure this happened, and I put this thing there. Literally, the thing could be literally the thing was 5 feet away, and I was just standing there, like looking down, like, wait, what? like brain cramp. You know what I mean? And I think that happens.
You're like short circuiting.
Yeah, short circuiting. And I think what happens, and that's more of a fun situation. But like I could imagine in situations where nerves are involved. You're about to do a presentation. You kind of have this process. You have this process, and somebody kind of interrupts that process or habit you have. to get yourself prepared for it. Oh man, that must be that. Not must be. I know I did.
Hey, it's like
Yeah.
and I know we've been talking about autonomy for a while, but whatever. It's like a exam in university. It's happened so many times where I study the material hard. I'm like, yo, I'm ready. All these questions. Open the exam. The first question, if I don't recognize it, I'm just like that threw me way off because all of a sudden I'm like, I'm not prepared for this. How is it the first question on the exam? I don't know. And then all of a sudden I'm out of sequence searching through other questions. Like, okay, I could do this one, and then I got to make my way back to that one I don't know, right? So
Something else I'm good
that's
at.
funny. We're similar. That's interesting.
Something else I'm very good at is time management. And that wasn't something
Nice.
I was
Yes.
good at all, probably up into my second year, third year of university. And I got pretty much punched in the face with pretty much getting kicked out of school or petitioning to come back to school because I was on academic probation. And
Mm-hmm.
in order to come back to school, they had a program. It was called Fundamentals of Learning. And up until that point, I was like maybe not every other guy from my neighborhood, but like most guys who do the work but don't really, put enough time into it. You kind of surf
Mm.
through high school getting B's and C's. You're not sitting at A averages
Yeah.
all constantly, right? And university, I was so laser focused on a dream I had or an idea I had to what to do with myself that I put so much other things aside. So, anyways, I found myself in academic probation. Um, One of the parts of this fundamentals learning class was time management, and we spent every day you had to show up to this class at 8 o'clock in the morning every single
Mm-hmm.
day, 5 days a week for the first term. So pretty much that's 3 months. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like,
That's tough.
yeah,
That's
and
tough for university.
yeah, and like you're only allowed to take 18 additional credits. So for York, you're only allowed to take that means three additional classes aside from that class, which pretty much means you're not
Mm-hmm.
in school. It's just pretty much their way of being like, are you an idiot for real, or are you just kind of do you need another chance, right? But anyways, this thing taught me like literally, I took that part so seriously, and I found it so invaluable. Even till now, I know if I'm gonna go do something, I know how long it's gonna take roughly, and sometimes
Do you
Silas,
wish you had this habit prior to
hundred
university? Or do you
percent.
think you obtained it at the right time?
I obtained it. I mean, I guess I obtained it at the right time, but I wish I would have opened my eyes and attained it way before. Like I wish I
How do you think it would have changed your anything?
I think generally what happens is, you were to give an example of an exam. I got to the
Mm.
point where I wasn't even studying the morning of anymore, or cramming anything. I wasn't like doing it. I just had everything planned and mapped out so
Lined up.
perfectly. And I went from like people who've gone to York know that their grade point average is out of 9, and I had a 0.82 heading into that class.
Point eight
0.82.
two
And when I
out of
graduated,
9.
out of 9, when I graduated, I went back and did all not only did I graduate with a degree and did all 4-year classes, I went back and redid all the classes I failed and got my average up to like 7 point, I think it was 7.8 when I actually
Okay.
graduated, which
Mm.
is pretty good. But I could literally attribute it all to time management, and I was able to break things down methodically, systematically, and have a great idea of what my skills were and what
Mm-hmm.
my mental aptitude was, and attribute that
Mm-hmm.
to a time. To be like, I can do this for this time. If I do this, it'll prepare me for this time. It'll only take me this long to do something, and
Nice.
it helps. It's not only attributed in education, but it's attributed to me in life. Like I'm able to know, just doing something once or twice. Okay, I know how long this. It doesn't escape me. And I
Yeah,
find
yeah.
that's what happens with people in panic all the time, where you're still doing the same action all the time. Like the kids have to go to school every day. You know what I mean? Every day doesn't have to be a rush, like a super crazy rush and all that kind of stuff. And I know a lot of moms. I've said this to moms before, and they've gotten pissed pissed at me like hey, but it really comes down to time management. It really comes down to you having power over time, and I think that's probably one of the biggest
It's almost
things.
like you imagine you have the same amount of energy every day, but you have to distribute it properly.
That is
So
that
that
is
ways, you
you
know what I mean?
you said it so eloquently. That is as
And I
perfect
say
as you
that
could say
because a
it.
lot
Yeah.
of people probably complain saying, "Oh, I'm so tired, I don't have the energy." But it's like, okay, yeah, but fine, find something that you are contributing energy to that's not required,
Right.
and redistribute it, right? You touched on something that I wanted to bring up, which is a very popular one, because you said you had to go to your classes for 8 o'clock sharp,
Yeah.
right? And similarly, I guess 2 jobs ago, my job didn't start till like 9:30.
Yeah.
But sorry, back in the day, like at Best Buy, we didn't start till whatever, I guess 9 or whenever the store opened. And
Right. Right.
then,
Right.
but I
Right.
lived like 5 minutes away.
Right.
And then my next job didn't start till like 9:30.
Right.
So I had time to sleep, whatever. And now in my current role, I start at 8,
Whew.
and I also live like an hour, 15 minutes away, or an hour away.
Wow. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
Sure.
so I have to wake up earlier and earlier and earlier. But I wanted to touch on one thing I would love to be able to do, which I have not been able to obtain yet, because I haven't really applied myself to do it. Waking up earlier than required,
Yes.
just to either meditate, read, or even if I'm just having my coffee and just being in my own presence for 10 minutes, whatever it is. But I do want to try waking up earlier than I usually do.
You're singing
And
to the
like right now, I
choir,
wake up
buddy.
at 6:30. So it's like if I can wake up at 6 and just kind
Yeah.
of get myself in tune, you know what I mean? Because I think I keep hearing how important it is. I keep hearing how it can kickstart your day to being productive and just ready. And I know it's true. It's just, I mean, if you wake up at 8, wake up at 7:30, 7, okay. But like I wake up at 6:30, so like I'm like 6 o'clock. Like
Yeah.
come on,
Exactly.
man.
It's
Like
like you can do
you
six,
know what I
man.
mean?
You're doing 6:30. You could do six, kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I know it's just like
I know.
and it's not like I go to bed early.
Yes.
So that is one thing I wish I did have is
Right.
I already wake up early, but I want to wake up earlier than I have to so I can really be prepared for my day.
Are we transition? This is part 3, right? This is stuff that we kind of
No,
wish,
the
or this is
same
the
same
same
part
thing.
too, because we said that we will say things that we have and things that we wish we had.
Wish we had. So I would say I wish something that I didn't have that I've just initiated after 38 years of life is going to bed earlier. I had a really bad habit since I was like, man, probably since I like was able to have a TV in my room. So probably like, I don't know, grade 6 or grade 7 or something like that. Like 12, 13 years old. Man, I watched everything, dude. David Letterman, Jay Leno, Conan. Listen, when I'm saying this stuff, you know how long the time is, and school starts at what 8:30.
No, some of those shows start at 11:30.
And some of those, no, and then Conan.
Late night with Jay Leno or not? Who's the late night one?
Yeah,
Was it Jay Leno? No,
Conan was 12:35. Conan used to be 12:35, and there's a guy named Craig Kilborn. These guys all started at 12:30. You're looking at 1:35. 2 o'clock in the morning, easy, bro.
Easily, yeah.
Easily, bro. And back then, you used to get like all the West Coast sports games. So if you really wanted to watch like Supersonics versus the Bulls, like Sean
You had
Kemp,
to stay till 11
Reggie,
o'clock
you had to
start,
stay
right?
easily.
If you want to watch Golden State, yo, you're staying up.
If you want to catch Tim Hardaway back in those days, you had to stay up, man. But that was like that's something I never was able to beat. And then Syed had said something to me a few months ago, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try. So that's been a habit that I've formed to try to cap my night at 1:30. I feel like 1:30 is a safe, fair time to myself to not only
wait. I just caught myself. Hey, 1:30 a.m.
1:30 a.m. Man, I'll push.
I just caught on to what you really said. I'm here shaking my head. I'm like,
yeah.
That's still pretty late.
Yeah, and like, but meaning to say, like, if I go to sleep at 10, between 10 and 1:30, that's you got to go to sleep between that time. Like that's where my
but Zam, that's such a broad range. Okay, how often do you go to bed at 10?
I've gone like I was about before we did this, I was knocking out with Callie on the putting Callie to sleep. So before like we did this, so 9 o'clock I would have knocked out. So a bunch of, but what's happening is what I'm trying to say is I've allowed myself to. Before I wouldn't. Before I would make it that like I wouldn't lay down in bed. I would sit up in bed. I would make sure that I wasn't lying on my side, knowing that it's how I fall asleep. Now I'm just like, you know, man, that's what happens. That's what happens.
Well, you know, one way. So I agree with all this, and there was a stretch where I was trying to go to bed earlier for my eczema, actually. So I was trying to be in bed by like 11, 11:30. Now like once 12 o'clock hit, that's when I'm like, all right, let's go to bed. And I'm
Right.
usually like passed out by like 12:30, let's just say. Before it'd be like 1:32. One thing Cece and I did when we moved into this house though is we made sure we did not put a TV in our bedroom, right? Like I was, so I have, you know what, I should have written it down, but I listened to a podcast. I really wish I knew the name of it off the top of my head. I don't, but maybe we'll put in the, I'll figure it out maybe next week. But one thing that they said was the bedroom is supposed to be for
Yes.
two things: sex, sleep.
Right.
Straight up. That's what I'm going to say. Okay.
Right. I've heard this
And when you
before.
have your TV in your room, now all of a sudden you're injecting, that's not the purpose. The TV is supposed to be for the living room, family room, basement, whatever it is. So now with no TV in our room, because we had one at her mom's place, we'd be downstairs, we're watching our show,
Right.
and once
Just
like
transition
12:30
right
hits,
up. Yeah.
you're like, let's go. Because if it's in your room, you're like, oh, I'm already in bed. Let me just play next. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that's helped so much because
That's
now
huge.
when we get in bed,
Yeah.
our mentality now when we go to our room is we're about to go to sleep.
Right.
It's not we're about to watch a show. One more thing I was gonna hit up in this section. I know we're running on. Was I have like the habits of thinking, like your thought process. So I've developed a habit of, and I'm still perfecting it. So it's not every time, but most times now, if there's a situation that arises, I literally stop and I think of the most, like I try my best to think of the most logical solution slash simplest without trying to overcomplicate things. Whereas in the past, I would get worked up like, okay, I gotta think about how to do this, or how we figure this out, whatever it is. And I guess I would like to say I have a habit, and I wish I had this earlier, to hear of whether it's a plan I gotta develop or whatever it is.
Right.
But I just try to think logically, and just like instead of seeing a big problem, it's okay. Well, no, there's this solution, there's this,
So
this.
you've cut out the overthinking, pretty much. You've cut out the overthinking.
Yeah,
part.
exactly.
Yeah.
And like I actually physically stop. So like if it's a serious problem, I will stop in my tracks, sit down, push my chair back, I'll have my head down, and at work, if people see me like that, they know, okay, Frank's sleeping, they just leave him alone. But if it's like a minor thing, then I just get
Or
to
he's
do
passed
one of my
out. He's drug induced. Or he's drug
I'm just
induced.
on the floor, passed out. Oh, Frank's just thinking, don't worry, don't
He's
worry.
got his hands on his eyes are closed. Like, he's drug induced coma. But
anyways, that's the last one for me.
Yeah, and I think again, those are the kind of habits that you want to form to cut down. Yo, man, life is short, dude. No matter how much people, even I used to say to people like, "Yo, man, you can live long. Yo, life is so long." But those moments where you overthink and you put too much pressure on yourself, or you kind of have this like, that's one thing that I try really not to do, and try not to bring anyone else in also, is like when I'm going through my I tend to overthink. I think that is one habit that I do have. I tend to overthink all scenarios, worst case scenario, like to the extreme scenario, almost but my habit is I prepare myself. I'm preparing myself for seeing the worst shit, hearing the worst thing, like low expectation of people. Like it's a very like calculated, systematic habit that I have that goes on in my mind. But at the same time, I do have a great admiration for people. We've talked about this before, about people who are just like literally, oh, that needs to get done. Okay, and like they don't, like they maybe me and you scenario, we're kind of okay, hold on, let me think this out, let me plan this out, let me map this out. There's a lot of people who just jump head first into everything, right?
Yeah, but I think everybody does, because although I say I plan things out, like I said, that's for like
no, but you have both sides, right? Everyone's multi layered, right? But meaning to say, just in general sense, like there's a lot of people who would just take the risk, like take the thing and just jump in, because their habit is to just go, right? Like to constantly just go, like head first.
So then let's roll into that, because it's funny you say that. The very first quote unquote bad habit I was going to say about myself, but I was also going to ask you, is this a bad habit? Is I tend to sometimes either leave things for the last minute, or also depending on the task, jump right into something without doing the crazy research, because I do find that I think very well when I'm on kind of like the edge of the seat, tip of my toes, just kind of like,
Stress, like you're
okay,
pushed
I
by
gotta
the,
go.
motivated by that stress, that kind of like having
Yes.
to do. Yeah, yeah.
And this is the opposite thing of I have with Cece, because Cece, she plans everything, which is great. But I leave things for last second because I know that when it comes to crunch time, that's when my mind is at its prime. Then like I'm just like, okay, let's go.
A lot of
But
people
I
like
also
that.
know that
Yeah,
it's not a good habit. Like it's not
but
the best. Like you know what I mean?
But a lot of successful people are like that. A lot of successful people are like that, where they need this. You're driven by that stress. It's almost like Michael Jordan creating enemies, right? Like you're creating this
Mm.
imaginary enemy
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
exists. Like this guy said, "You're nothing, Mike." He's like, "Oh, I'm nothing." Now it's like, "Oh, 40 points." You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's like
yeah.
that's
But
it.
he's
You know
like,
what I
yo,
mean?
man was just joking.
Yeah, he wasn't even talking to you. He was talking to someone, talking to someone else. You know what I mean? It's like you, and that's on a grander scale of someone who's like, I guess world renowned for focus and determination, but on I guess regular human scale, I think a lot of people, I think that's one of the positives probably you'll find maybe about yourself, that if you didn't have um that motivation, probably you don't achieve the successes that you do, right? You probably
Yeah.
don't, if you're not motivated by that
If you
stress or
don't
that
throw
nervous.
yourself in that
Right,
situation,
right. And
then
a
you
lot of,
might take it a little bit too laid back, right?
yeah,
And be like, and you miss an opportunity, I
yeah,
guess maybe.
and what you find in life as you go, man. Like if I tell people this all the time, there's so many ways to skin a cat. You'll get to the I can get to the same finish line as you, but maybe
Hmm.
my process is the let me think all this shit through. Let me make sure I know what the
Hmm.
worst case, da da da. Where you are like, okay, boom, 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 boom. We might get to the same finish line. You might get there
Yep.
first. I might get there first. I may take way longer to get there before you, but
But maybe you get there less stressed.
less stressed,
Like, you know
right?
what I
I
mean?
have less mental stress, less mental
Mhm.
yeah, less strain, just generally on yourself, you know what I mean?
And actually, you know what? I think a good example of that is actually just climbing the corporate ladder. I always find it fascinating when I see, let's say, two people of a respectable position. Like, respectable meaning, like, they got some promotions.
Yeah,
One, and they're both the same age. And when you see one that looks just like they're like drained,
drained.
and the other one is like still looking good,
Yeah,
youthful, it's like, well, what happened there? You might
right.
automatically think, oh, one didn't really deserve it. Maybe they didn't work hard, but maybe it's not that they didn't work hard, but they worked smart, right? Maybe they just talked to the right people instead of doing 60,
Taking
70
it
hour
all on their
weeks, for
back. Yeah,
example.
right.
Exactly. So that's a good one. What's another one? What's one that a bad habit you have there, Zam?
So I said the sleep thing. So sleep thing was probably the thing, and I probably another bad habit that I have. I probably have to ask Saida. What's a bad habit that
I can
I
tell you one.
have? Okay, go ahead.
You LOL at like the worst situations.
Yes, I laugh at everything. I laugh at
This
everything.
guy
Yeah,
last, yo, I will go
I
and
can
I'll
make a
put
joke
in
out of anything.
time.
Yeah.
Yo, I'll put in time on a graphic or something for an episode. I took time choosing an episode picture,
Right.
putting on the typography, putting effects and everything. I sent. I'm like, yo, man, what do you think? All I get is a LOL. I'm like, this
But
isn't funny.
but I have told people this before, that when I type any messages, DMs, thing, I type as if I'm talking. I don't have like a version of me that is like different in these facets, right? So if you were
This
in
man
front of
just
me, you're
laughs at
like, I'm like,
everything.
yo, what kind of
Everything. Yo, I just had a baby. Man just laughs.
and I just
I just got diagnosed with diabetes.
you know my mom, I've traced this back many years ago. My mom does this. I have two uncles who are my mom's brothers who do this. My mom's one of her uncles do this. So it's something, I don't know, dude. It's something, I don't know if it's a nature or nurture thing, but it's something
You
that
just said
exists.
uncle so many times. I don't know
No,
whose
like,
uncle you're
so
talking
my
about anymore.
uncles, so my mom's brothers,
Yes.
two of them of the five, do this. My mom is known notoriously, like, you think I'm bad. My mom, I have to go, mommy, can you just stop? listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm asking
She's
you.
laughing.
She's
Like
"Ah,
Joker.
yeah." You're like, what is happening? Okay, listen, I didn't make a joke. There's no joke here. So there's that. And then her uncle, like, so her dad's brother,
Okay, now I
also
got
does
it.
this. So I don't know if I'm just carrying on his lineage, man, of this this
Guy needs people
foolishness,
just giggling for no reason, guy.
this
No
foolishness,
reason at all.
But I would probably say that is. I have had to tone down that reaction. So I'd probably say that is a habit that I'm aware of. That
It's not even a bad habit, actually. It's just more so. Once I realize that you just laugh at everything, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He's not laughing at me. He's just stupid.
No, but that's where I have to realize, like, not that you have an insecurity, but I guess you have there's an insecurity of, like, I have to be aware that
I like to please people. So if I do something, I put effort, and then I see the person laugh, I'm just like,
yeah, you're right. I see. I don't have the same thing, so I have tried to put myself in the situation that, you know what, this guy cares about this thing. I'm not gonna send it. I'm not gonna send it.
Well, Zan's actual was probably, this guy's a little soft, so let me just cheat him. Let me just sweet him up a little.
And I've had to get rid of that thinking. I've had to, like, get rid of that thinking because I have kids, and I don't know I'm thinking of how my son is, like, and stuff. And sometimes he'll tell me
Your son's
something.
just gonna be laughing at everybody, guys.
No, he's like the opposite. It's like, I'll laugh, and he's like, Daddy, why are you laughing at me? I would, because I could feel like I could find humor in everything, and that's my.
No, I hear you.
That's one of those habits that, again, there's a positive spin on it, and then there's a negative side to it. You know what I mean? But
I agree.
I'd probably say my sleeping thing is the worst.
Gonna say,
yeah.
Sorry, two last ones I was gonna say is, I think a lot of people have this bad habit of checking their phone. I pick up my phone for no reason.
That's a modern day thing. That's a modern day.
Okay, that's a modern thing. Like, we don't even have to dive deep into that. That's just the thing.
Yeah.
But one thing I know that I am aware of is I cut people off a lot, like verbally. Like, someone will be saying something, and I'm so excited to get what I want to say out that I'm literally just like, you know how back in the day when you skip double dutch and you're waiting to jump in? So, like, I'm constantly just waiting for that opening, even if it's not an opening. Some people just jump in and just mash up the whole double dutch. That's me. That's me. I just want to get in and be like, yo, da 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 da. And then
your famous line is, hold on. Yo, hold on. But wait, hold on.
You know what? I get it from my dad, 100%. When I was doing the renovations on the house, like, for example, I remember when I had my boy Mike, he was helping with the drywall.
Yeah.
And we're there, we know what we're doing, like, we know we're about to throw the thing up. And my dad will come around. I'm like, yeah, yo, what's up, Dad? And every time we go to do something, hold on. I'm like, hey, what are we holding on for? Like, we're good. Like, we have the thing over our head. Oh, hold on. Just so he can, like.
Worst.
Okay. I'm like, what do you want us? I cut people off all the time. Definitely get it from my dad. 100%.
And something you also do is, like today it happened where we were talking something on our chat, and you literally skipped all of, like, Woods' like post explanation and literally replied to the thing, and I was like, this man literally just scrolled. He read what he read, scrolled all the way down, start typing his reaction. It's like, but this man didn't read anything.
No, because Woods said that I left Best Buy and came back.
No, and then I said, "Oh, did he work?" So I said, "Yo, did he work for Best Buy for visit?" He goes, "No, he came back to visit to show off that he got a new job." I'm like, "Okay, cool.
Yeah,
you skipped that whole."
Here's the thing:
to make sure mans know. Make sure mans know.
So here's the thing. So here's another, I guess, bad habit of mine. Then we'll probably lock it off.
Yeah.
So I had a long day today. Like, at work, it was a long ass day.
Right.
And I think that's when either I just got home or I was driving or something.
Right.
And there's times where I don't have the patience to read up, especially all our messages. So I read something and I'm like, oh, let me reply. I reply to it, but it takes you to the bottom of the thread. And I'm like, I'm not scrolling back up right now. You know what I mean? So I allow it. I just let it go. And then you guys are like, oh, You didn't read the thing? I'm like, nope.
You see, we're older guys than you. Even though you think that there's not so much thing. What you learn in life is you gotta the detail. Those details are important because you're wasting energy, man. You're wasting energy.
Had this thread going for like 13 years, dog. You think I read every single message in the past 13 years?
Yeah, but your reactions to stuff, man's is like, guy, carry on. Anyway, let's quickly dive into part 3 of this. Where
that was part 3.
Part 3 abuse? No, but I wanted to talk a little bit on what people abuse a bit. So like work ethic.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna give a quick top. I don't know, 3 or something. So I would say work ethic. Time.
Hold on. I'm just joking. I'm just really joking.
Work ethic is something that people abuse all the time. People always talk about their work ethic.
I have great work ethic,
right? Hustle has probably been the most bastardized word in probably the last 20 years because people use it. You work if you work a 9 to 5 and you don't have children, what's the hustle involved? You have a job. You go to your job.
Well,
you
if
come
you have
home.
multiple jobs.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Someone's like, I went to the hustle.
Hustling.
Like,
I'm hustling.
No, you went to your
man's hustling.
job.
Man's are hustling out here. Man, listen. Mans are hustling out here. Is not you have a job and you go to your job, all right? This is not the same, man. It's not the same, dude. If you have multiple jobs, you're working on something. Researching things is not the work, man. If you actually doing the thing, like
actually doing.
Yeah.
Well, no, wait. I would say research counts.
No, I know, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, you've been researching this thing, Reggie. If you're researching this shit for 10 years, no, it's not. You're forever you hustle until you die. I don't mean no sense.
Yes. And you know what? So I would say I used to be a culprit of that. Where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm working on this. Like when I was trying to think of business ideas. I don't know if you noticed, but I stopped saying what I'm trying to work on because I didn't execute. And now, unless someone asks me, they'll say, yo, I'm trying to, look into this or work on this.
And when you tell that
that's now, like, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to humble myself a bit until I'm actually hustling. And if someone says something, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is my side hustle. Whatever.
And what you need to realize is when you tell older guys this and you're not following through, your perception comes as like, I'm just talking shit. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, just talking. You're just talking.
Yeah. Because
you're doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. All right. So there's that. There's attention to detail is like for me, for the time I've been employed in anything, whether it be a product manager, whether it be a technician, when you hear somebody say they have an attention to detail and they do not. Most people do not have this attention to detail. I feel like that's a habit that can be formed, even if it's not by nature. But that is a habit that can be formed if you take the time to form it. And I don't think people take the time to form it at all. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. And number 3, I would say being on time. I would say that's something that people always lie about, that they're someone who's on time, that they're punctual. Being punctual, punctualities.
No, I don't know. I think more and more people are actually just admitting that they're not on time. I think it's become a cultural acceptance when someone says, yeah, you know me, I'm not going to be on time.
That's true. But maybe that's been worked in like through the years. Like, we can't fire everyone.
Say, I'll be there. But now it's like, come on, man, you know it.
You know what? I'll give you that. That's been one of the things where, like, probably our generation, like, not my mom's generation or yours.
100%. Like I think it's definitely our generation.
100%. Your parents, my parents, and everyone's parents who came here from like West Indies or Europe or whatever in the 70s. Them man show up on time more times often than not. And I think like the kids they had probably like, yo man, come on, man.
Nope.
All right, yo man, I'm gonna reach. Yo, you reach it? Yeah, man. I'm leaving just now. All right.
Nope.
Man,
that reminds me of a story. This goes way, way back when I think it's me, Marlon, Chef Wong, and Woods. We were going to our boy's Topher's house, and we were all in Ajax, and he was in Pickering at the time near like Liverpool. And I left, and we're like going to his house. So, man messaged me. He's like, "Hey, you guys almost here?" And I was like, yeah, man, just exiting on like just around the corner, whatever it is, right? We were still on the 401 driving to his exit, easily 15 minutes away. But I don't know why I lied. I was like, yeah, man, I'm always there.
Because you're West
Like
Indian.
I was like,
man.
I was like, just
West
wanted to
Indian.
please the guy.
That is the West Indian part of you. Because another West Indian would kind of understand. Be like, all right, this man might say he's reaching. All right, might probably be here in an hour's time or whatever it is.
Yeah. But if I tell people you'll come to my house for 8, I prepare for 9:30. If they come early, I'm like,
depends who you invite.
Should have came on time.
You should have known. You should have known.
Should have known what's up.
All right, so
Frank, how you just get out the shower? I told you 8. Yeah, it's 8. You should know that's 9 o'clock.
You got anything to add? Any to those 3?
No. I think this was good. I think that was a good. That's a very common list there.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Here's another bad habit of I don't ever say it. Should say it. I'm gonna say it. When dudes,
did you just talk to yourself?
When dudes are
like, yo, don't say it. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it.
It's not even bad. I don't know why.
You talk to the angel on the right, angel on the left. Like, I'm gonna say it. You don't say it. All right, I'm gonna say it.
Looking left and right. Look at the angel. Look at the devil's like. I'll say it. When you hear dudes try to talk about their game, their game is trash. When they're like, yo, I beg enough girls, or like, yo, I go on all night. Listen, I'll say this right now. When a man is like, yo, we go all like in those Chris Brown songs, like all night, like start at 12, finish at like 8 a.m. No, you're not. Or like when they're saying they're begging beer girls all the time, and then you go to the club, like, yo, let's go track these girls. Nah, man, I'm good. I'm like, yeah, but I thought you were Mr. Steal Your Girl. Now you're just Mr. Celine up on the wall. All right, cool, fine.
So this is the habit. You mean like a lying habit, like a boast, like a
when they
talk about
boost
themselves
up, and it's very not accurate.
I've
thought
that
verse with women. Sorry.
Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
gonna cut you off now.
No, sure.
Women like, oh yeah, I take care of my man, and it's like, all right, you want to cook me some breakfast? No, you cook your own damn breakfast. It's like, all right, but I just said, all right, cool. I take care of my man. Oh, all right, you gonna handle this bill? No, man, you're supposed to take care of me. Yo, man. I'm like, all right, cool.
I think Frank's having flashbacks, like some sort of flashbacks.
I've encountered.
This has been ranting with Frank.
This is so 100% not CC, first of all. But I've encountered women where they think they're top shit,
yeah.
And it's like you're not. You're really, literally just like you're soft. Like, I'm sorry, bye. Anyways, that's all I gotta say, folks.
All right, you know what? We went a couple weeks with no like demeaning women at all, and he has 52, man. Not bad.
What do you mean? I just said a thing about men, and then I'm like, and I said
and women, and also women.
I can't call out my dogs and then not talk about the girls. Come on, man.
All right. With that being said,
all right.
We'll put a bow on habits.
Put a bow on it.
Put a bow on that, and it is time now. Yeah. It is time now. In episode 52 of A Coming of Age, the podcast. Everyone's
coming of age.
Every single person's favorite segment of any podcast in the history of time. It is time now for spitting in 5.
I don't know what you actually said about that. What's that song?
What are you singing? Shabba Ranks?
That reggae song? Wait.
Oh. It's Elephant Man. Ready for the video? Yeah.
You know what just happened? It was one of those moments where I was like, oh, I got my sound. I started saying it, and midway through, I'm like, I don't know the words.
Oh, boy.
Welcome, everybody, to our favorite segment of the show, Spitting in 5. For those of you who live underneath a rock or are really quarantining and not listening to our damn podcast, shame on you.
What's wrong with you?
Spitting in 5 is quite simply 5 minutes plus or minus. We don't ever do just 5 minutes, but it is where I choose a topic, question, scenario, something of my choice, and I throw it to Zam, and he does not know what it is, and it's just pure fun. Has nothing to do with our topic, but it's a good time. Azam.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready for this week's Spitting in 5?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Name me 3 of your top pet peeves. Like things that just like just get you like just off the wall pissed off. You're just like, why?
Wow. I don't get too upset. You mean like frustrated?
Don't get me cheese right now. Don't say you don't get upset. You don't have any pet peeves.
I hate like dirty floors. Dirty floors. Like if the floor is dirty, anywhere I go, like if it's dirty floors, like whether it be publicly or in my house, like with the kids, oh buddy, you better pick first of all, I'm ripping the vacuum out. The vacuum is coming out. Everything's getting every Lego piece, every toy. Like I send out warnings. I send out warnings. I'm like, Casey, I'm like, you guys better pick up everything you like whenever you want. You better pick it up now. Pick it up from now. Because I'm coming through with this thing, so I'd probably say that that's
man
something.
Has a Dyson 8000.
That's something.
Your shout out Dyson.
Pet peeve. I hate I guess pet peeve. Going into someone's car, and the car's dirty. Like that's something that's like I would rather come out of the car, help you clean the car. I'd rather help you detail the vehicle than go into the vehicle.
A dirty vehicle.
A dirty vehicle.
I'm guessing that applies to a dirty house as well.
Yeah, I guess it's like in my car, where the kids sit in the back is like trash. Like sometimes it's trashed. Like they just are nuts. Where I sit, if anyone, you probably no one will ever take the
First
time.
Class pilot seat.
Buddy, you want to make I got everything. I even got my detailing stuff in there in a weatherproof case that it doesn't freeze. I make sure my area, what I'm looking at, is nice. Everything in my eyesight is nice.
We talked about this the other week. That's like Woods. I remember when Woods was pushing the Acura back in Best Buy days. That car never saw a speck up. If a dust particle fell on the dash, pull over, wipe that off. And he had like air fresheners that would like. I think I have asthma because of the air fresheners in his car. Like it always smells. Like you open the door, it's like poof, like whoop, like COVID mask on because you can't breathe back then, guy. His car was always pristine.
Yo, shout out.
So I hear you. All right.
Shout out to Woods and shout out to Bento. Bento is probably one of the best guys for keeping his everything clean. Just a clean freak. Anyway, number 3, pet peeve.
I don't know if I can shout out Bento. Man was making fun of my sweet up game,
Sweet up. Yo. Pet peeve. Third one. I don't know. Something that sticks in my craw. Something that really sticks in my craw. I guess just generally. You
were kind of annoyed in Miami when like making moves. Like you like to just like be on the move and have a plan. No.
So like, what did you observe? Like, what was the observation? You mean like that?
When mans were indecisive.
Oh yeah, okay.
As Sam just starts walking in a direction, it's like, all right,
I like to go, especially if I'm on vacation. I'm a goer, man. Like I don't sit. Like even if when I'm with the family and stuff like that, like once Saida and the kids go to sleep, I'm out. Like is there something going on? Like I do that by myself too. So yeah, I would say that. So indecisiveness, especially on vacation. Indecisiveness, especially on vacation, is a pet peeve of mine. Where I've before time would like have a verbal reaction to it. I just have action to it now. Like where I just
just disappears, locks the doors.
So I'd probably say that's a solid.
Cleans his car and gets out of there.
That's a solid 3. So what you got?
Nice. 3 I got.
You have you probably have a top 10, but this is the 3 of the 10.
I got like a top 50, but top 50,
easily.
1. slow drivers in the left lane.
Ooh, good one. I didn't even think of
your
that.
ass, boy.
Yeah.
Like,
You see?
move, okay? I have no patience for that. Why are you laughing?
Yo, I love because I love and I would love to bottle when that Saint Vincent accent comes out. I just want to bottle it because you always say, "Yo, I can't do it." I'm like, it's good, man. It's good. Move your ass, boy.
Move. Like, I'm the type I will get right up behind you.
Curious.
So aggressive, yo. When someone calls you a scunt, like you just like you can't help but be put back. Like, damn, yeah, you're right. I am. But when people drive slow in the passing lane, when they eventually move out the way, or if I have to go around them, I am staring. I'm going out of my way to look to see. Oh, I hate you. Move. That's one. 2. This is gonna sound mean, but like people who talk too much. I like conversations that are to the point, short and sweet, and like real talk. If I'm at work and I don't mind being disrupted, but when like I know I'm being disrupted, and this person is gonna talk for like 10 minutes and just kind of like repeat themselves or go in circles or not really get to the point, I cringe.
Can I add to that
too?
Can I add 100%. To that? Because I probably a top 4. I would probably put that as talk too much, but also talk about them. Like they're talking about themselves or like something that they like. It's like like that thing. Like that's a thing, man. That's something.
What
was
the purpose of this conversation?
You didn't want me. You just didn't want to talk to yourself in the car. Like I'm the. Like what?
True,
me being here makes.
Hey, I know I sound like a dick. I know it. But like, I just don't have the patience. I'm just like, come on, get. Or telling a story, it's like, get to the parts that make sense. Right. When you're going on a story, you're like, you're just like giving a run off of something else. Just like, yo, come on. Anyways, and then she's
just. That's what you said.
What?
Your Freudian slipper there. She's just going off on.
She's just.
That's what you said.
I didn't say she. Did I say she?
Great. Great.
No, I
gotta find out who this. Listen, whoever's at work, I gotta find out who she is.
No, there is no she at work. It's all males.
Oh man, disrespect to call a man gyal out here. She.
Wow, jeez, yo.
All right, go on.
You're biting onto nothing.
Go on.
One thing that I hate, and this is what I do, so many times. Let's say I'm about to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm collecting this stuff. And I look at something, I'm like, I won't need that.
Yes, you do
that.
And I
go, and I always need that every single time. Like, even if, like, just the other day, I was going to go hang, yesterday, I went to hang up some pictures up for Cece's mom.
Yes.
I'm taking my tools, I'm like, I won't need that bit. It's fine.
And
I get there. 100%. First thing I see, I'm like, I need the bit. I literally like
you got a butter knife, a fork, and you got toothpicks trying to figure out how you're gonna like mimic all this shit. Like all right.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Like I made do. I was like, fine, but I'm like, come on, like it happens all the time, every single time with anything.
You know something that'll fix this, and like I'm not trying to be funny about it, but like when you have kids and you're I know what you mean, and you're actually in their lives, like you're actually part of their like day to day, and you care about what they do.
Yeah, because you bring everything because you want to make sure.
Yeah, you just
prepared,
like, and
right?
but that also translates into probably other parts of your life where you're like, all right, let me not bring these shoes. You know what? Let me bring these shoes with me.
That's why when I go on vacation, if I'm going for a week, I pack like 2 weeks worth of clothes, and I pack where I have like literally in my head, I'm like, okay. Yeah. I need clothes for the morning. I need clothes after lunch. I need clothes for the evening. And just in case I walk in water, I spill some wine. Let me bring 10 extra shirts. Everything.
That's a good one.
Those are my pet peeves.
Those are good ones. I definitely share with you in the talk about someone who talks a lot, but also talks about themselves. Like someone who asks you about your work or your day, and then like just wants to just rip on like their life when they went to Thailand that time.
Yo, how was your day? It's all right. Yo, so my day, I'm like,
oh man,
okay,
like
all right, cool.
yeah, my day was man, my you know, my grandma's sick and all this kind of stuff. Oh really? Eh? Oh yo, you know what happened to me was that when I was you know today what happened was like, you don't care,
When they sit down and get settled, you're just like, all right, I guess I'm here for the long haul.
I've become bad, and Sidas had to tell me like, hey, like stop doing that. But you know how like you're bringing up that I laugh a lot, like my reaction is to laugh.
Yeah.
Now my reaction a lot of times is to call someone out when that's happening. Like if something's happening that I don't like, I'm like, yo, this man really just going on. You, Reggie, you're really going on about yourself right now. I don't need to like, but I'll laugh while saying it to kind of, you know, to bridge the awkwardness. You know?
I cut the person off, or like if they're talking about
hold
something.
on.
No. Hold on. You gotta go. Time's up. No. As in, like, if they say something, I might throw in like, oh yeah. You told me. Just you know what I mean, and just kind of hope they catch on.
You know what? That is a great.
Or if
way.
I know what they're trying to allude to, like if that, yeah, exactly. And if I know what they're trying to allude to,
you'll finish
they're just taking too long to say it, I'll finish it. It's like, yeah, you know. I'll just tell people like, yeah, I know. And the cat jumped off the fence, died. I hear you. So I mean, it happens, right?
Right.
And it's just like, you know.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my thing right there. Whew.
Yo,
thank you.
Frankie, people can find us everywhere, can they not? They can find us on everywhere they listen to music.
You can find us on every single streaming platform for podcasts. Check us out from Podbean, iTunes, obviously Spotify, iHeart, YouTube. Check them all out. We're streaming everywhere. Just search for A Coming of Age, the podcast. But if you're listening to us, you already know that. You can email us, please. We always love the emails. It's always funny at acomingofage.thepodcast@gmail.com. Shout out Mama Dukes, always emailing us. We'll send you some merch soon. You can catch us on social platforms, so IG, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook. We post every single week. Check out our stories, comment, like, subscribe, follow, the whole works. So you'll get us follow back. Podcasts are reaching out to us. People are reaching out to come on as guests. Like we said, season 2, you're going to get more guests. We have another one coming up very soon. So stay tuned for that.
We got a few. We do have a few. A few that have been promised in season 1. To give any loyal listeners and some new ones. Yeah. So that's all.
We got some stuff coming. And honestly, still a great journey. Still having fun while being the best all day, every day.
Best Buy. Shout out to Best Buy.
That wasn't their slogan, was
it?
Yeah,
it was. It was a big, you see,
having fun while being the best.
Yeah, 100%. What do you mean? 100%. Have fun while being the best.
I made that up.
Smart friend, man. Be a smart friend.
I remember that.
You thought you made that up.
Shut up, Best Buy.
Shut up, Best Buy. And with that being said, I am Azam, that is Frank, and we are out. 52 is in the books.
Hey.
Chucky.